trip report time.
Ooh, exciting.
We're sitting in front of our Christmas tree for a little pretty background. This is going to be completely unscripted and hopefully pretty quick.
Yeah.
But we want to give a little bit of a trip report of our trip from November 14th to the 21st.
At Saratoga Springs.
Yep, Saratoga Springs. So first, resort, I guess. What did we think of that?
I liked it.
Really nice.
I would say the only downfall is the size.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very big and it's not super easy to get around.
Yeah.
The resort
we
itself.
We were in the paddock area.
Mm-hmm.
Was our building,
Mm-hmm.
but we used the Carousel Park bus stop because that was right outside our building.
Yes. Yep.
So
Yep.
if you've been there, if that helps you where you placed
Because they're like long strips, so the paddock was like this building,
Yeah, and it
this,
went way
this,
down.
this.
We were about 2 buildings away from the pool, the paddock
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah.
But the only thing there is you get a little bit of, or I do, I guess. Like you hope you're going to get across from Disney Springs.
Yeah.
And that's the
Congress
Park area. But we were not there. So, of course, you're always hoping for that. And when you're not there, there's like this tiny
Little bit
disappointment.
yeah.
But we had a 3rd floor room, the balcony overlooking a little pond with a fountain. So
And we
or
were
lake,
looking in
or-
the direction of Disney Springs because we could see the balloon.
Yeah.
We did film a room tour, which I'll put up at some point.
So we
but
did have a nice room and a nice view.
very nice. Yep. And the
But
room
there's
itself.
always like that. I wish we could have looked at Disney
yes.
Springs.
Yes.
But
there is that a little bit. But the room itself was gorgeous.
yeah.
Super clean, super nice. It was refurbished. Just really, it was my favorite room that we've stayed in so far.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And we could have walked to Disney Springs, and we had that plan a couple times, but it ended up twice we came back and once we went there, I think.
Yeah.
But both times we caught a bus to either, if we were going there, we caught one from our bus stop to Congress Park and then walked from there.
Yep.
Or coming back, we just ran into buses at Congress Park that took us to the main building.
Yes.
And then we walked from there, which was shorter.
Yeah, the walk from the main building was
So you
much
can
shorter.
do that. You can take a bus around to the Congress Park area.
And speaking of the buses, that would be one like sort of not amazing thing for us on this trip. The buses to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
Not reliable.
The buses
at Saratoga
everywhere else,
Springs.
the parks were great.
Were great. But because you have that option to walk, the buses to and from Disney Springs are not super reliable.
Yeah.
We waited
Or they're
at Disney
farther apart
Springs
anyway, yeah.
for a long time for a bus.
Yeah.
And then we got a driver who was kind of put out that he had to pick us up, I think.
It seemed like it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so that I wouldn't recommend counting on the buses to go to and from Disney
Yeah.
Springs unless you're willing to wait. Otherwise, figure out the best route to either walk the whole way or, bus,
Walk from
like
Congress
we just
Park,
said. Yeah, bus to Congress Park, whatever. But other than that, the resort
That's
was
one
great.
thing where that bus driver did point out. The one that does go to Disney Springs, normally the buses go in a straight line and they'll go through and they stop at the main building last and then leave. Where the Disney Springs bus takes a different route. It stops at the main building and then it goes through and stops at the main building again, just in case someone wanted to get to a different...
Sort of acting like an internal bus.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Just something to know.
Yeah, just a little bit different for us at this resort. But we liked everything else. I mean, the shop was very small.
Yep.
And the artist's palette, which was the quick service, the food was very good, but there weren't a ton of options. And we didn't really, to be fair, we didn't really get a good look at what like seating and all of that looks like because with COVID, everything's so different.
Yeah.
We didn't eat in there, so we couldn't
It's
really give
hard
a
to tell,
fair
yeah.
assessment of that.
I was looking forward to having a food courty or place like that because Old Key West only has outdoor.
It's just like a pool bar, basically.
Yeah. So this was nice to have an indoor, kind of a little bigger.
Yeah. It was nice.
Restaurant,
And we
but-
ate there a few times.
But they didn't have the regular restaurant open.
No, the Turf Club is there.
Yeah, so that was
table
closed
service.
because of. So things are different during COVID.
Yep. The lobby was gorgeous. We liked that.
Yep, that was nice.
So yeah, all in all, I'd give the resort. I mean, if you're grading on like a A through F kind of scale, I'd give the resort an A
Minus?
minus.
B
yeah.
plus maybe.
A minus B plus. Yep.
I still would say I think I like Old Key West
Yes.
a touch better.
Overall, Old Key West is my favorite resort.
Maybe.
This was my
Theming-wise.
favorite room.
Yeah, that was a nice room.
This was my favorite room. Old Key West was my favorite resort.
What else?
I'm trying to think. So some of the things that were different because of COVID. We do these trip reports all the time, so we don't need to tell you every teeny tiny little thing. But well, actually, let's do the new things we did first. We'll save the evils of COVID for the last
All
part.
right.
What did we do on this trip that was new?
Well, I did a couple rides that I haven't done.
Yes, you did.
I did the Tomorrowland Speedway.
And that, to be fair, that was new for me on my October trip, which I
Yeah.
didn't do a trip report for. So,
And I'll say this, it's fine,
yeah.
but I feel like a couple of things. It's not super Disney in the fact that I can go to a roadside carnival and ride go-karts, kind of.
Yeah.
Or anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's not special, and it's certainly not themed correctly.
No.
It's in Tomorrowland. It's Tomorrowland Speedway, but you're driving gas-powered cars from like 1960.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna call it the Tomorrowland Speedway, like, do electric cars, make them hover or seem like they're hovering, or make them spaceshipy. Something's got to be changed.
Yep, I agree.
Like, it just doesn't fit for me.
Yeah.
It's not fun anyway, unless you're under. If you can't drive, maybe it's fun.
Well, so I had some fun when I did it. Just like the silly fun, kind of. Like you
Yeah.
would nostalgically going back and doing something from
Yeah.
your youth or whatever.
I mean, it's not horrible, but
No.
it's like, I'm not going to do it again.
No, I don't think I will
But-
either. But I'm glad we did it, so we can
But I think it
check
needs
off
an
the list.
update, retheme, or
Yeah.
something.
The other attraction
Anyway.
I've never done, but he did.
The Carousel of Progress. I enjoyed that. It was neat to see something that was been so long ago that was in the World's Fair and part of the Disney lore, I guess.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
And
It was-
the main reason I didn't do it, well, I was exhausted, so I was sitting in the hub, and he just wanted to go do something, but also is I'm not 100% sure about the seats.
Oh, yeah.
The two-armed chair fear for people with large hips. So I haven't tried that yet,
But I do enjoy history and things like that,
Yeah.
so that helps. That Spaceship Earth, things like that.
Yeah.
I like those.
the other ride was at Hollywood Studios,
Oh yes, that's right.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which my first time, again, was in October with my sister, and then his first time was this trip. We rode it twice.
I enjoyed that.
So
I like it,
awesome.
yeah.
It's so much fun.
It's good.
It's completely different. I don't want to say too much in case anybody listening hasn't ridden it.
Yeah.
And I would recommend if you haven't ridden it and you plan to, don't watch any videos.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it because I was shocked by some of the things in the ride that I didn't expect. It's so cool. It's so cute.
Yeah, it was fun. It's very fun.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Mickey has a ride.
Yeah,
with
it's
me.
about. I mean, come on. It's his.
Yeah.
It's his world. It's
So-
about the time he gets a ride.
That's good.
Yeah, really good. I'm trying to think off of that from any rides. I mean, we got a Rise of the Resistance boarding pass. They're doing that a little bit differently now for anybody who doesn't know. You can try to get your boarding group starting at 7 a.m. no matter where you are.
Yeah.
So we did it in our hotel room.
Yeah.
And then we got our boarding group, but we didn't ride the ride till like 3:30 or
Yeah.
something. So, and you have an
We're
hour.
77.
Yeah,
Star Wars
77.
fans.
And you have an hour from your time, from when they tell you that it's time to board
Yeah.
to get on. So we got to do that. I don't think there were any other new rides.
I don't think so.
Someone had what he thinks might be his favorite Disney meal. That was new food for him on this.
Well, I don't know if my favorite overall was
Well, on this
probably
trip.
favorite this trip,
This trip.
was the Pecos Bill tacos.
Weird, huh?
I got the chicken tacos.
We've eaten a Pecos Bills before, but he got a burger. I love the nachos. I've had those a couple
Yeah.
times, but
I just like the chicken was good and the spice in there was good. And it helps me being a picky eater that COVID is going on, so they just basically give you all the sides separate.
yeah.
They give you all the sauces in little cups. They give you even the cheese and the lettuce all separate.
It wasn't all put together, which
so you can
was kind of
pick
nice.
out what you want.
And I think that may be how it is all the time anyway. It's just
With
that
the toppings
normally
bar.
they have a toppings bar.
Everybody loves the toppings bar there.
There is no toppings
So
bar
it could
right
be
now,
like that
but-
anyway.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed them.
And then other new food. Did we try any other new food?
Oh, we had some festival stuff.
We did
I
have
guess.
some festival stuff. I guess nothing so remarkable that I feel like we have to
No.
touch on
Your
it.
favorite, what, teriyaki chicken bun?
Yeah, the teriyaki bao bun from Japan. I think I've talked about that before. That's absolutely my favorite.
I don't think anything blew our
I don't
socks
think
off
so,
otherwise.
no. The pass holder store in Germany at Epcot.
We got quite a few things there.
Yes, which we have a haul video, so go check that out. I put that out earlier this week.
That was kind of neat, though, that they did that instead
Really
of
neat.
like handing out things and place where pass holders can go get a little something special.
I thought that was a really good idea. I'm sorry, circling back to food, we ate at Cinderella's Royal Table.
Oh yes, that was a new thing.
Here's my, sum it up take on it. It's way too expensive. Not worth the money. Do it once. That's my...
Yeah,
Do you feel that way?
We decided to go because of COVID. They're not doing the princess interactions.
And you don't have to call right now. You can do it online.
yeah,
First
so
time
there
ever.
were two things that we liked.
Yep.
We didn't have to interact with the character, or Cinderella did come out.
She
and
did.
Wave and do a little
Twirled around
thing.
and danced and stuff. Yep.
So if you do want to see a princess, you can, but you don't get to interact with them.
No interacting, but...
The food, we were going in expecting, oh, it's going to be fancy.
And that's...
And it'll
I
be-
mean, we're burger and fry
Yeah,
people.
so it
That's
won't
just
be
who we
much
are.
about the food for us. But it was surprisingly good.
Good.
I had the butternut squash soup.
Yep.
You had...
I had a charcuterie board,
Oh, yeah.
which all but one lump of strange something, we don't know what it was. Everything else was good. And then we both had the herb chicken.
Which that was really good.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And the dessert was
Yeah.
amazing. It was like gingerbread or like spice cake, and then pumpkin
Cheesecake. It was the
pumpkin cheesecake. Oh, it
That
was
was really
basically
good.
pumpkin spice and gingerbread mixed together.
Yeah.
It was,
was
so good.
So the food was better, way better than I expected.
Yes, and
And it was neat
you're
to sit
in
in the
the
castle,
castle.
yeah.
So
You
you
can-
look out the window, you can see Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
But it was like $169 or something like that for us both. So it's pricey.
Is that much?
Yeah.
So I thought it was 60 something for...
I think it was
I don't know.
160.
Whatever.
I'm
It's
pretty sure it was
expensive.
160.
It's probably cheap.
Maybe that might have been once tax and everything, but it was expensive. So we will never do it again, I don't think.
No.
But it
Just
was
to say we were in the
it
castle.
was worth the experience, yeah. We tried a couple of other new restaurants. We went to Ale and Compass at the Yacht Club. I loved what I had. You didn't love what you had so much.
No. was
I had the
fine.
blueberry bacon pancakes.
I had the cinnamon apple French toast, caramel apple French toast.
Yeah. He said it was a little bit dry.
A little dry.
And there were golden raisins. Golden raisins kind of chased him around on this trip.
There's golden raisins in that, which are, fine. It's not like
He's
it's-
just not a huge
I don't
raisin
spit
fan.
them out or anything.
Yeah.
And they're also in the Kringla
Yeah.
at Norway.
It's like we didn't know that or something, even though we
I
had
thought
that
we
3
had it
times.
before. We
I
knew
think
that,
so.
but I
we
didn't
were laughing
remember.
that the golden raisin was chasing him
Yeah.
around on this trip. But the ambiance there was great.
Yeah. We love the yacht.
We
Club
love
anyway.
the yacht club. We would eat there again.
Yeah.
I would eat what I had again. They also have a basic eggs, pancakes,
Yeah, I'd probably
bacon
get
meal,
something
which you
else,
could get.
but it was a good experience.
Yeah. Did we try any other new restaurants?
We did the sci-fi again, which
Yep.
we've done many times.
We love sci-fi. Yeah, probably our favorite.
Well,
That's a Hollywood
not
Studios.
a restaurant, a Contempo Cafe we ate at.
We
but
did eat at Contempo Cafe.
That's just food court, basically.
Yep. But I
I
think
don't think
that's
we
it.
did any sit down.
Yeah,
Sit down.
I think that's it on the food front. The ride front.
Oh, we did try Blaze Pizza
Oh, I can't believe we forgot that.
at Disney Springs.
People
And
have
we-
been recommending Blaze
yeah.
Pizza for years.
I would say it was a hit because we went back the next day and had more.
Yeah.
So,
And the second day, we walked it back to our hotel, and it was cold when we got back,
And
and
it's
it was
still good.
still amazing.
yeah.
So good. So if you've never heard of Blaze Pizza, it's sort of like Subway. You walk in, you pick your crust and your sauce and your toppings down the row, or you can pick a
Yeah.
pre-done pizza, and then they put it in
it's
like
like-
a wood. It's like a wood fire grill. They put it in there,
It's like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's
and it's so
blazed.
so good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And we had cinnamon nuts too.
Cinnamon nuts, yep, they were also very good. So yeah, highly recommend Blaze.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
And it's not terribly expensive either.
No.
So
No, very reasonable, and that's at Disney Springs. If we didn't
Yeah.
already say that.
I think Earl of Sandwich, we brought that back to the room once.
We
But
did,
we've had
yep.
that before.
Yep.
Disney Springs.
Yep, we love roll sandwich. I was trying to think of like some of the things that we always do. Like Magical Express went very well. Again, we had 2 good bus drivers, 2 fun.
The guy on the way home even sang to us.
He burst into song, a song he had written while he was in quarantine. He said before we left. It was fun. Let's see, anything like informative that's not COVID related before we dive into COVID? I think it's all COVID related from here.
Well, that's the big thing.
And we have to, I hate talking about COVID, but we have to talk about it in a trip report
Well,
because
we can
it changes.
talk about how it affected them.
Yes, it changes the experience a lot.
Yeah.
The biggest part for that affects everybody is masks. And you have to wear masks literally everywhere, except in your room or when you are stationary and actively eating.
Yeah.
You can't eat in line. You can't be walking through the park eating and drinking. We saw a little bit of it happening anyway, but not a lot, do you think?
No, most people were pretty good.
And I would say overall, at the parks and the resorts, I would say 95% mask compliance, if not better.
Disney Springs.
Disney Springs is a little bit, but even there, I would go down to maybe 90%.
Yeah, most people.
Yeah. So it was, and it's hard, but it's not that hard. Most of us are having to do it in our daily lives anyway.
We had a cool, pretty good weather week, so
we did.
The heat didn't affect us.
And I would highly, highly recommend that we change our battery. Okay.
New battery.
New battery. What I was going to say was I highly, highly recommend the new Disney masks. We have some of the old ones. They're fine, but they're thick. These new fabric. So if you buy them in the Disney parks, they're still selling both, but get the ones that say new fabric on the package, don't you think?
Yep,
they were great.
I didn't
super breathable.
Wear the old ones at all. They're kind of tight for me, but I bought a new one and I wore that most of the rest of the trip.
That's true too. In addition to the fabric being better, the fit is better.
Yeah.
So we were both wearing extra large in the old masks. We both bought extra large in the new masks, and they are way too big for me. But I have these white straps that'll kind of go around my head to put them on. And that works fine with the extra large mask. So they were, definitely recommended. $9.99, not expensive, and we got cute Christmas ones. So that's probably it as far as masks go. I'm trying to think, go back to the beginning of the trip. So obviously air travel, which isn't really Disney report, but part of our trip. You have to wear your masks on the plane. Again, except for when you're eating and drinking and in the airport and all of that. But other than that, nothing was different except that Disney will not pick up your luggage. They've suspended that for the Magical Express.
You gotta schlep your own luggage.
So what that did was it made that part of the Magical Express trip slightly longer because everybody has 3 bags instead of everybody just having their carry-on stuff. But there's also far fewer people getting on each bus. They have you every other row.
A lot of this stuff I like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't really like people.
They say, take row 5, take row whatever, so you don't have people going, what's around? So they just go, sit, and you're away from somebody.
Yep.
Just
You've got space.
Fine by me.
Yep.
I prefer that for everyday life.
It's people who like their personal space, like we do.
Yeah.
Some of these things are really great. And we didn't notice any delays Magical Express-wise.
No.
In fact, on our way home, we ended up, and actually this goes into Bell Services too, we had some good Bell Services experience. On the way home, we ended up, the Bell Services guy came to help us pick up our luggage and bring us back, and he gave us a bunch of fun facts about Disney property, and there are no palm trees at Saratoga Springs, because that wouldn't make sense there. And then he actually said, there's a Magical Express bus here. It's an earlier one than yours. Do you want me to ask if he has any room? And he asked, and the guy was like, yeah. So we were able to get on a bus a half an hour earlier than ours.
Didn't have to sit around, wait.
Yeah, we had to sit around at the airport, but at least we didn't have to sit around at the resort with our luggage.
Yeah.
So that was really nice, and everything went really quick and smooth. We didn't have any issues with Magical Express. Check-in was all done online, but we do that anyway.
We've done that for...
We've always done
every
that.
trip.
Yeah. But they greatly discourage you from going to the front desk if you don't have to. They will help you at the front desk, but they would prefer you not.
And every time we went to we didn't go to the main building a lot, but the front desk was almost always empty.
Yeah. So if you did have a question or need anything...
Which we did.
We did. Okay.
I did go, and that was a ghost town.
He went up there to get toilet paper, which would be one other not super amazing thing for this trip. We don't have a lot of those.
No.
But when you stay in a DVC resort, you get housekeeping on your 4th day if you're staying for a 7-day trip. And it's just light housekeeping. It's just taking out your trash and your towels if you leave your towels on the ground. We didn't leave our towels on the ground. If you want your bedding changed, I think you have to request that. And I think there might be a fee if you want your bedding changed during a 7-day trip, but I'm not 100% sure about that, so don't quote me on that. We didn't care about any of that. But the toilet paper, the spare toilet paper, is very clear when you walk into the bathroom area. It's right there. And we had used our spare roll, or it was on the roll, and they didn't leave us any toilet paper. That to me seems kind of shoddy for housekeeping when you're staying in a
come in
DVC
and take out
resort.
the trash. You might as well do that, right?
We're getting shifty. Yeah, that was a little bit, and then I couldn't figure out a way to request more, and then I chatted online with a Disney cast member who said just go to the front desk, and he was down there anyway picking up food, so it was fine. We got one, but not the best. Let's see, what else was affected by... Well, lines. So, I guess first thing would be getting into the park.
This is fantastic.
Okay, you do get your temperature checked going into every park, so I would highly recommend if you're someone who runs hot, chuck a water bottle to your head or something, but we never saw anybody get turned away.
Yeah.
They check your temperature when you go into the park.
Like basically walk through.
Yeah, because they're using one of those guns or that they like blast at your forehead. So, no, yeah, we never had an issue. They also do that when you go into Disney Springs. But what was the most amazing part?
No bag check. You hold your bag, you walk through, just the touchless scanners.
And
so there's no line at the bag check.
And to clarify, there is a bag check, but only if the detector that you go through senses something that needs to be checked.
Yeah, which
then
we've heard they
you
want you
aside.
to take out your umbrella, glasses cases. I think they don't want you to have.
Mm-hmm.
Someone got stopped, and we heard them over say, "Oh, it's for my battery," or something.
Molly and I, when we went on October, got stopped twice, and I think one time it was for my little miniature tripod that's hooked to my camera, although that made it through all the rest of the times.
Yeah.
And the other time, Molly had a clamshell glasses case with her. But even that, they pull you over to the side where there's a guy that looks like old days bag check, and he just peeks in and finds the thing, and you're done. But otherwise, we never got our bag checked.
No line at bag check,
Right.
and then no line at the gates either.
Mm-mm.
Like you go up, you don't have to do the finger thing.
Nope.
So it's just a magic band, and people are moving in, no problem.
The other thing is...
So that was fantastic.
We didn't see any of this on our trip, but Molly and I did in October. You know, there's always the one family that their stuff doesn't work, and you just want to get into the park, and it's frustrating, even though you get that they're frustrated too. They were pulling people aside and taking them out of line and dealing with them, which they've never done that before, and I always thought they should, but now they have a reason why they can't have you backed up. So... That was good.
Park entry is fantastic
It's
now.
amazing.
Yeah.
And in the park, there are, please wait at this line, stickers, long rectangular stickers.
For every line.
All over the park, for the food places, for the lines, the rides, all of that. But they're handling it really well, I think.
Yeah.
They're keeping you 6 feet away from each other. But I found that usually instead of usually you get into a line that's 20 minutes, you're going to stand still for probably 15 of those 20 minutes. That's not how this is at all. It's basically like a very slow walk to the ride. You don't stop a lot because of the distance between each party. Don't you think?
That's what, I mean, I do not like lines.
Mm-mm.
And you're saying, why do you go to Disney? Well, yeah.
Fast passes.
I agree with that. Yeah.
No fast passes right now.
But,
there are no fast passes.
Yeah, the lines look so long, and time-wise, they're long, but like she said, like Mickey and Minnie, is you get in and you just kind of, you weave through, and maybe you stop for like 30 seconds, but it's usually like a nice stroll. So it doesn't seem that bad.
Part of what helps that is my biggest pet peeve in the whole universe, which is adults who can't put down their phones.
Yeah.
Well, how come the line hasn't moved in a while?
Because no
There's
one's
a
paying
woman
attention.
doing this on her phone. Phone should be banned in line. So there was a lot of that, but it's fine. We had pretty good experience with lines, and I feel like don't trust the app for your times, because
It's usually
that
shorter.
Well, and the app changes like by the second.
Yeah.
I feel like they're having a hard time keeping that up to date. The actual standby sign outside of the line is more accurate. But even those, I would say it's about 10 minutes shorter on average.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Usually
That's what
they
we
were.
found. About 10 minutes shorter. The longest line we waited in, I think, was Mickey and Minnie's. For about 50. We waited about 50.
That's what we wanted to do that night. That was the day we got there and just wanted to go and ride it and be done.
Yep.
You know.
And I think we waited about 50 minutes.
Yeah.
We did not wait that long
But
for
the line is not as
anything
bad
else.
as some of the past lines you wait in. You're standing there and they're just miserable. Here, at least you move.
The only line that was miserable for me was on my October trip with Molly when we waited for Slinky. It wasn't miserable necessarily, but it's Toy Story Land, and if you've been there, you know it's boiling hot.
Yeah.
The sun's beating down on you. And for frame of reference, we waited 65 minutes, but the line started back at One Man Stream in the theater. So that was long and outside. But 90% of the other queues, I mean, there's stuff to look at. Like, we waited in line for Smuggler's Run. Well, you're in Galaxy's Edge. That's
That goes
awesome.
all the way, yeah.
That's awesome to be able to look at that. So,
I mean, there's no fast passes right now, so that helps
Nope.
get the line moving. And
what do you think about that, fast passes? Time to bring some back?
I think so.
In some way. Even if it's virtual queue like they're doing for Rise of the
I would
Resistance.
probably stop the standby lines a little more, clog those up. But
Or the other
the thing is, the capacity is lower. A lot of people argue about that, but when you think it through, the lines are still long. Disney wait times, that hasn't changed with less capacity. But half the restaurants are closed. There's no character meet and greets.
No.
There's no shows going on.
No.
So all those people sucks are not happening.
So there's a lot more
all
people
the
out on the
people are
street.
doing is either eating quick service or standing in line
Yeah,
for a ride.
that definitely makes sense.
So you don't have anybody else doing anything else. So that's why the long lines are so long, I think.
And I think some of that's going to get helped a lot when, like, Disney or Magic Kingdom just announced Crystal Palace is going to be opening.
Yeah.
Probably won't have characters right away, but it will be open, and that's a huge, even at half capacity or whatever, that'll be
Slowly
huge.
but surely. They're
That was the other
opening
thing that just kind of sparked something in my head, which is eating. Your every other table, at least.
Yeah.
Which we loved because we didn't have, people piled on top of us. It's actually really kind of nice.
Yeah.
And how they enforce it, I mean, in the table service, obviously, they seat you. But in the quick service places, it's very easy to tell because they have a big sticker in the middle of the table that says, or a sign that says, this table is not available. It's very, very simple.
Yeah. And that's another part of it I like, that everything is mobile order. So you don't have to stand in a line.
Yeah.
Or even when we always did mobile order,
When we could.
but like the commissary last trip, we mobile ordered, but then there's a group and you don't know who's
awful.
where.
It was
Everybody's
awful.
standing around the counter in a big group.
It was so
Can't
stressful.
move anywhere. Now you mobile order, they keep you outside, and when it's ready, you go in.
You can't go in
So there-
until you show them your phone.
There
that
was
says
nobody
it's
at the
ready.
counter usually when you get your food. So
Yep.
that's, or one other person.
It was really,
so that's
really nice.
fantastic.
They're handling that so well.
But
The other thing I've noticed in the parks is way more benches and tables. Places to stop and sit.
oh yeah,
Because at least at Magic Kingdom, and I notice this more than the average person because I sit a lot, but at least at Magic Kingdom, it's hard to find a bench or a table to sit at Magic Kingdom.
yeah.
Because it doesn't really fit in with the theming, so there aren't a lot, but there are right now. You all of a sudden you'll see, and at Epcot I noticed it too, because a lot of times when you're trying to do festival foods at Epcot, there's the stand tables, but there's no place to sit. There was a lot more tables and chairs and things set up to keep people distanced from each other. So that was really nice. There's no fireworks shows anywhere. Both Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios have their projection things going on the Castle and Tower of Terror, but they're not shows. They're just
And they
designs.
change like every 15 minutes, so
Yeah.
people don't wait around, or you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they don't get a lot of people waiting around for it.
Nope. I guess the only other thing I can really think of is the transportation. So the on property buses. Amazing. I mean, not amazing because you wait longer and you might not get on
But
a
you're
bus.
guaranteed a seat.
But you're guaranteed a seat, and they tell you exactly where to sit. The seats are numbered. There's partitions between. You're never like jammed up like, oh, hey, we don't know each other, but we're sitting like this on the bus.
In front of someone. Or,
yes, there's none of that.
Oh, we can fit you on if you want to stand. And
it was very, very nice.
Dance around.
And at the risk of people being offended, please don't, because I don't mean to, but you see far less scooters, which can be frustrating sometimes for the buses, because on some previous trips it seems like every single bus there's 2 scooters, so then nobody fits.
Yeah.
We saw less of it, for one thing, and they were doing a better job of not automatically putting those people on every bus. Molly and I noticed this in particular. We were in the line to go back to Pop Century from Animal Kingdom, and somebody showed up, and I was kind of counting the people, and we weren't going to make it on the bus based on my calculations. And they came right out and talked to the guy, and he said, no, I just got here. And so they kept it. They let the people who were there first, which I appreciated that. And it's nothing against people who need to use scooters and wheelchairs. It's just that sometimes, some trips we've been on, it feels like there are more people that way than there are people without.
Yeah.
And it gets frustrating. So I think they're handling that really well, too, for both sides of that. And the boats are not running everywhere. They're not running to Disney Springs from Saratoga or Old Key West. And I think part of that is because Port Orleans isn't open. And they're a big part of that.
Small boats, so they probably, they can't fit a lot.
Yeah. But the boats had opened. The Friendship boats at Epcot in the park were open to take you across the park, and at Boardwalk, taking you to both parks. Those were open. They actually opened while we were there.
We took a boat from Magic Kingdom to Wilderness Lodge.
Yep. So those are open too. And I think those had opened just that day too.
Yeah. And the walkway is open from Magic Kingdom to the Grand Floridian now.
You cannot take a monorail to the Polynesian. That's not available right now because they're doing refurbs. But as we didn't go to the Poly, but as far as I could tell, it's still all open. You just can't take the monorail.
That's where I felt you felt the lesser crowds in places like that. Like we went to the Contemporary and the Grand Floridian. It was pretty quiet, very quiet compared to normal. The monorail, we had a whole section to ourselves.
Yeah.
And at our resort, the buildings are quiet.
Quiet, yep.
So I think that's where you feel it. If you were to go to Disney Springs, like on a weekend night, you probably wouldn't notice any difference.
No.
It's still crammed.
And so as far as like comfort, I was thinking about that. So we're not the best people to ask because we are on the very low concern spectrum where COVID is concerned. But in trying to put myself in that spot, I don't remember there ever being a time where I thought, ooh, people who are scared of this would be really upset right now.
Only Disney Springs.
Maybe Disney Springs, yeah.
Because at night, it gets
pretty crowded.
Probably because of the locals and whatever. And you get people that don't care as much.
Yeah, definitely. And a little bit less mask compliance there.
Yeah.
Although still, I would say,
I mean, if you pay
super high,
$100 or whatever to get into a park, you probably don't want to get kicked out.
Right.
And that was an announcement all the time. So
every 15
But if
minutes.
you go to free to Disney Springs, probably don't care if you get kicked out of there.
Maybe not. Yeah. So there was. It still wasn't. I never felt like people were jammed up against you or anything, which sometimes does happen on a regular day.
Yeah.
But it might have taken a little bit of effort to get 6 feet away from someone if you were concerned about that. The stores were still doing a very good job. Yeah. I didn't ever feel that in the stores. Even in World of Disney, which was very busy, I didn't feel like jammed up against people like you sometimes do there, because they are keeping track of how many people they let in. So, I mean, overall, I would say Disney World is probably one of the safest places you could be right now.
Yeah.
Out and about with people, as far as, I mean, they've had 0 reported outbreaks, all of that. So they're doing a really, really good job. I would say if somebody's thinking about taking a vacation and not 100% sure, wouldn't you say you can feel comfortable there?
Yep.
You can feel confident and comfortable there. If you're in an uncomfortable situation, there's a way out. There's a space, there's a place you can go to get out of it.
Closest I ever got to anybody was sitting shoulder to shoulder on the airplane.
Yeah.
Which, that's a whole other issue.
That's a whole other thing. That with the airport, you can't sit 2 chairs next to each other, but they're filling the planes.
Yeah, so, anyway.
But yeah, so...
We've rambled on for like half an hour now.
Yeah, I feel like bottom line here, like the biggest piece of advice most people are probably looking for right now is, would you recommend that people go to Disney right now based on comfort level with COVID, based on experiences, things they might miss out on, all of that, would you recommend a Disney trip for people right now?
I would say if you are a repeat, go.
Go, 100%.
You'll invite. Maybe if it's your first time, I might wait.
I would too.
Because you're not going to see everything.
No.
For sure. If
No.
you have kids, I think probably wait if they want to see characters, because you're not going to be able to take any pictures or whatever. And the pictures you take in front of the iconic rides or
Masks.
you're going to have masks
You
on
can't
all
take
the
them
time.
off for your pictures.
So, not great memories for that either. So I would hold off if it's just your first time or first and only time.
Yeah, I was
If
going
you
to say.
plan on going back again, then maybe.
Yeah, if it's your first time, but you're going to go all the time, you're probably fine. But if it's a once in a lifetime trip, which it is for a lot of people, don't go right now.
Yeah.
Don't go right now.
Just
'cause
for
you're gonna
that
miss out on
fact,
some
for
things.
your pictures,
Yep.
for your getting to ride everything, that sort of
Yep.
thing.
But under all other circumstances, I would say 100% go.
Yeah,
we
if
didn't
you've
feel
been there, whatever, go.
We didn't feel like we got left out on anything. The one thing I just realized that we did not touch on, that I'm going to just touch on real quick, was reservations for the parks. As of right now, there's no park hopping, and you cannot get into a park without a reservation for the park. However, we canceled a reservation for Animal Kingdom and went to pick up one for Epcot, and we could have got into any park. So they're not, at least not very often, full. So not super hard to get. And Disney just announced that as of January 1st, park hopping is coming back. We don't know exactly how it's going to work just yet, but so there is that to consider. But otherwise, yeah, I would say 100%. If you're a Disney regular or you're going to be able to go more than once or whatever, go. It's safe, it's comfortable, it's fun, it's Disney. So anyway, that's it. Vlogmas starts in 2 days.
Oh.
Exciting. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.